This is a comment that touches on everything. Apocalypses open up the world. We have no proper way things should be, and that exposes us to the necessity of our own violence, not just running from the threats of the zombie apocalypse. We can't just rely on having an enemy figure that we fight and keep violence upon, and then we're safe at home. There's this divide between the thing that has to be destroyed and the thing we're preserving. Uh, in exposure to the necessity of our own violence, that changes our very structure. We don't get this way of blinding ourselves off to it anymore. And in being exposed to the necessity of your own violence, the question is, where does it stop? How do you how do you control it? Not just in a, oh, we're going crazy, it's a frenzy sort of a thing, but how do you actually structure yourself? How do you make the calls to not be violent, to show kindness, mercy, to stop? Like, that is an undoing thing. In the works I refer to, The Last of Us and Telltale's Walking on a Live game, these are both radically engaging the necessity of our own violence and questioning where it stops. How does it stop? How do we change? Um, it's not this scolding. Uh, you should not be violent. You should try to be as peaceful as possible. It's about the call for peace within your own violence, if that makes sense. With The Last of Us, it's the necessity for revenge, a revenge that you cannot turn away from, that you must pursue to its very end, and pay the cost and take on the burden of that entirely. And how do you break out of your own position of doing that? Where's the end point? With the Walking on a Live game, there are multiple levels of uh, you need to be violent to be part of this world, but where do you stop? Where does it stop? What about the necessity of being violent towards the person you love most of all, um, when they turn into a zombie, etc.? That's not just like a heart-rending, nice moment of fiction. It's structural. How you operate changes dramatically to undergo that. Where We've Made It Dark is about the necessity of becoming a violent subject while avoiding the ideological traps of violence, of framing violence in a way where it's not dramatic and undoing. We don't get to just fall into zombie smashing fun. We realize the extent to which this violence is undoing, and not in a we should find some space outside of it kind of way. There is no such space, so you have to struggle with it. That's the book in a nutshell. It's that struggle.